Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. I hope you're doing fine on this day before Thanksgiving. It is November 24th, 2021. Yeah, so I meant to come on yesterday and I was really busy, so I decided to save it and to find out what was going to happen with, like, where they were at with the Ahmaud Arbery, trial for his unfortunate, tragic murder. Anyway, so I do want to take a look at that today. And I also want to take a look at Kyle Rittenhouse, who is now being put upon a pedestal by the Republican Party. We live in very, shall we say, alarming times, and we all need to be paying attention. So really, from a spiritual perspective, as you know, boy, it was a while ago when I was on, now that I'm thinking about it. As you know, we did a group meditation on Sunday. Was that the last time that I came on? I don't know. Time is flying. I'm not sure. I did do a video, actually, that's what happened. I did a video with Bridge Cape Ann with Corey, and if you want to look that up, just type in Bridge Cape Ann, and it should pop right up. That's what I was thinking. I did do a video on Monday, so check it out. And I don't know about you guys, but I kept thinking it was Tuesday today, and it's actually Wednesday, so I'm all mixed up for no real reason. Today, looking at my calendar, I can see that the moon is going into Leo. And the moon will be in Leo on Thanksgiving Day, so get out your finest garb and your most glittery outfit, and just understand two things about Leo. One is Leo's like a lot of attention, and it's also a fire sign. I believe it's a fixed sign. Pretty sure I'm right about that. And so the couple things, it can be fun and playful. And it also can be haughty and opinionated. It's not the only sign that can be that way, but I'm just saying, in general, just because it's Thanksgiving. Remember, practice with me. If there's somebody that's on the other side of the aisle politically, if they instigate, what are we going to say? I'm for love. That other person that you're for, it promotes hatred and violence and divisiveness, and that's just not what I'm all about, right? Okay? And then you have to zip it. Nothing against those people. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. We are interested in keeping a peaceful vibration. We don't want to contribute to the tension and the anxiety and the vitriol. We don't want to contribute to that. It's the least we can do. Do not engage. Let's go to the cards, shall we? All right. I want to start with Joe Biden and the infrastructure bill and how things are going on that front. I know that Americans in general, we are a very impatient lot. Just saying, that's just the way it is for whatever reason. Very impatient. The infrastructure bill is going to take some time to get. I did mention that a while back before it passed. The infrastructure bill, before it passed, I was saying I could see a lot of people not understanding that it is in effect, because literally they have to plan how to fix the bridges. They have to make I don't know, I'm not an engineer, but the engineers have to draft up how they're going to do it and then get the people to work, and there's a lot to it. So even though we won't see a lot with our eyes with the infrastructure, I do feel like February, March, we're going to start to see a lot of activity on our infrastructure, on our roads. And where I am in Massachusetts, the roads in general, the highways we call them, are pretty good. So, and I know in some places it's just horrific. So we will start to see lots of positive movement forward. What a concept on that front. And I'm going to pick 3 cards about the Biden administration. We'll just start there. And while I am picking some cards, I want to let you know, some of you know that on Thanksgiving Day tomorrow, a couple things. One is that I'm doing a Church of Spirituality service like I do on Sundays, and I post here. I'm doing one also for tomorrow for Thanksgiving, and I'll post that just as soon as I'm done with it. I might even do it tonight, we'll see. And but it will be posted by, tomorrow. And I'm doing a show with Linda G, which will be first time ever, and I'm really excited about that. She's a great psychic and a great person. We have a very special community here that just spontaneously came into being with the advent of, 45, because we all needed to kind of come together. And that's a positive, and that's reason to, give us hope is, a group of people together, all wanting love and all wanting healing and all wanting peace and all wanting, this country to be in a good place and this world to be in a good place. Collectively together, it's a big deal. That's why we organized the meditation that Bathrobe Danny put together. I didn't watch it. You may have noticed that I wasn't there because I had a terrible connection. It was all static. And I jumped off and I was not being able to figure out how to get you guys on my channel to know that we were doing it on his channel. There was a bit of confusion there. But next time, we'll have it all sorted out. So that's what's going on tomorrow. And also, thank you, those of you who went to the video that I made, the 6-minute video where I just made a place for people to just send healing and prayers to Wisconsin. That was a terrifying situation, the SUV that plowed into that parade. I did talk about that on Bridge Cape Ann, Waukesha, Wisconsin. So please continue to pray. There's some things going on energetically that I'm feeling like is going to produce other events like similar to that. So know that we're safe and protected, and always affirm you're safe and protected. Just send light to Wisconsin. That state has really had a rough time past year or so. Let's go to the infrastructure thingamajiggy and Joe Biden. Somebody I just saw my dad and he said, Joe Biden looks tired. And I'm like, I don't care how old you are. If you were doing that job, you would be tired. Honestly, if you were 21 doing the job that Joe Biden's doing, you'd be exhausted. The 5 of Cups. Okay, so let's just look at this. I'm looking at infrastructure in the Biden administration. The 5 of Cups is like, I see delays, but first I was just talking about delays because it takes time to get things together. I actually see some of the evil Republicans putting a wrench in the works on the infrastructure bill. It might be the Build Back Better bill that passed the House but still has to pass the Senate. And I just see them being troublemakers, which we already know that. I'm just saying troublemakers in regards to the infrastructure bill. So it's going to be, it's going to look a little dicey for a little while, but the 4 of Cups is always saying there's a blessing in disguise here. So what they're doing is actually making a stronger case for how much they're not for America. Not that that's a blessing, but some people really just have to see it and feel it, repeatedly to understand that these Republicans that are violent and conspiracy theorists, and that's just telling it like it is, that's just factual. It's going to be, so glaringly in everybody's face that unless you like being gaslighted, you're going to understand. It's going to get clearer what they're doing, is what I'm saying. And when you have a clearer idea of what's going on, it's easier to make a good decision. about what to do next. I'm highly concerned about the state of our democracy right now, just to, you know, be completely honest. There are moments that I'm terrified, and I am not saying that to make you fearful. I do believe in the power of the people and the strength, and when people are united, we are the United States. And I do know that this is a minority of the population that is violent and raging and promoting these conspiracy theories that are very, very, very dangerous. And just hold a space once a day. Hold a space in your mind for we're okay and we're going to be okay. So the infrastructure bill, that's what that was about. I see the GOP Republicans, you know, like Kevin McCarthy standing on the floor of the House for 8 hours, just spewing nonsense lies. You don't believe it till you see it. It's really amazing. And like I said in my other video about that, I just saw him as a puppet. That's the energy that I got around him. Was he had a conversation in the morning with this orange person, as you know, and that's what he told him to do. And I don't mean just like, hey, you might want to try standing on the floor and, you know, filibustering, you know, or attempting to filibuster for 8 hours, or, you know, till the wee hours of the morning. And it wasn't until like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning that Kevin McCarthy finally just stopped his tirade of lies. That's a long time to be telling lies. And I know that he was, you know, it was a forceful command from 45 to McCarthy. There's a lot more of that going on. There's a lot of people being, I'll just say brainwashed, for lack of a better word. There's a lot of that going on. We really do need to meditate as a group, and we really do need to pray. You're going to just get tired of me saying that because I just know that it works. So that's why I kind of hold fast to my opinion on that. All right, I want to just look at what's going on with Russia and China. I have said before, if the insurrection, a lot of I words these days, insurrection, infrastructure, inflation. If the insurrection had actually met with success, China would be the world leader right now. So let's count our blessings on this Thanksgiving day, almost Thanksgiving Eve. A lot of you are traveling now. If you're at an airport, if you happen to be at an airport right now, or, you know, just a rest area, just take a moment to just appreciate and be peaceful. It's just a suggestion. It does make a difference. All right. Sometimes I get people to be quiet for 1 minute and they notice the difference. I did say about Russia, when Russia started, you know, being a threat to Ukraine, you know, getting on the border, you know, having troops at the border of Ukraine, I did feel like it was a show. It was an intimidation tactic. I didn't see, this is a couple weeks ago, I didn't see Russia invading Ukraine at that time, a couple weeks ago. I'm going to ask the pendulum about that. I'm going to ask the pendulum. Oh, I didn't say my perfunctory. This channel is for entertainment purposes only, based on my psychic facts. Is Russia actually going to invade Ukraine? No. I feel like the stakes are too high. Don't know any details, but that's what the guides are saying. The stakes are too high. If they invade Ukraine, it compromises them too much. I feel like Vladimir is weighing it out. Okay, and then there's a China situation. I'm telling you, authoritarianism is knocking at the door, and it's very concerning. So China got mad that the U.S. had, I guess, a naval ship is kind of, you know, just showing the United States, you know, force and, you know, protecting Taiwan. Just, you know, it's a statement. And China got mad because China wants Taiwan. It's a crazy world. Why can't we all just get along? You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's see. Is China going to actually invade Taiwan? Well, I'm getting a no there too. You know, I didn't know what the pendulum would say, but it's saying no right now. And I'm going to pick 3 cards to look further into that situation. Russia and China have joined forces. Ah, they're 2 of a kind. The guys just said G and Vlad. I like to call them Vlad. Vlad and G. What a couple. They're like 2 peas in a pod. Okay, so they know. It's interesting because it looks like Russia knows the disappointment that will come, and I don't want to say diplomacy, but the Russia knows that invading Ukraine will not up their game. There's nothing really. It's not worth it. For some reason, it's not worth it. And I get that diplomacy. I'm using that word really loosely. Diplomacy kind of wins in a way with the situation on. I'm just looking at the border of Russia and Ukraine. I feel like I'm getting a stalemate kind of an energy. And the Queen of Pentacles. This is interesting. This is I feel somebody who's a female in a leadership position having some influence. I'm talking about Russia, but I'm feeling, gosh, it really is true that Russia and China are working together. I see a female, and I see this female having some kind of an influence, we might not see it, on the situation with Russia and Ukraine. Now, I know it's Erdogan in Ukraine. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, I just got it mixed up. It's not Erdogan. His name is slipping my mind. Ukraine? I'll think of it. Erdogan is Turkey. Anyway, the leader of Ukraine has some, there's a feminine influence, there's a female influence that's going to make a difference in that situation on the border. Be interesting to see. What is his name? As soon as I stop this video, I'll think of it. So don't worry, you don't have to post it. That's it's a sticky situation, but the guides for some reason are just saying no need to be alarmed about. We have enough to worry about, right? And I never recommend worry. I recommend prayer and intending rather than worry, because worry is just destructive energetically. So let's just, visualize everything being kind of just staying. I'm feeling like a plateau kind of a thing, like a stalemate. With the situation with China and Taiwan, and with the situation with Russia and Ukraine. I don't see anything, imminent in terms of war. Skirmishes, the guides just said skirmishes, but not like all-out war. I did hear astrologically, and I'm not quite sure where I heard this, but I must have been watching an astrologer on YouTube, that these times that we're in, astrologically, as we know, and you've probably heard, are very similar, especially with the Pluto aspects, to the Civil War times. And from a world perspective, these times astrologically are very similar to the events leading up to World War I. 100 years later, and it just seems like we haven't made much progress. Oh well, that's the story of human history. That is just where we are. We still are, we're a civilization that we can't get it through our heads that war is not the answer. I had asked in the past, I did a brief reading. I don't even know if it's still up. Because everybody, I think it was in the summer, but everyone was like, is he going to run again? Is 45 going to run again? Is 45 going to run again? And at that time, I saw that there'd be too many legal issues in the way for him to. The January 6th Commission is very hard at work. We're going to take a look at what's going on with that. I just feel like 45 has got so many legal things pending. gosh, so many. I mean, if you saw the list, it would boggle your brain. I haven't seen it, but I know it would boggle your brain. So let's just look at 45 and the January 6th Commission, and if the January 6th Commission's progress will affect his decision. We'll look at it that way. Will affect his decision to run for president. No. Okay, let's ask the pendulum the flat out question. Is he actually going to throw his hat in the ring to run for president in 2024? It's saying no. Let's look further into that. Even though I'm really opposed to asking this question, I know you're seeing it all over the news. Is he going to run in 2024? I know there was something that Michael Cohen said about it, but I didn't check that news story, so I have to look afterwards. I keep seeing health issues. I just keep seeing health issues for 45. I mean, that's just what I see. Like, not, like, the guides are saying something about, you know, gout, or, you know, like, gout is like a liver issue, I think. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying, like, let me just describe. It's like clogged up. High blood pressure, kind of high cholesterol kind of thing. Yeah, you know, asking if he's going to run again. This is what I get. I've never gotten good cards for 45 in terms of where things go from here. And it's not necessarily that the January 6th Commission is going to, you know, subpoena him and take him down. And we can look at that too. This is more like he's just not together. Did you hear Mike Lindell is doing a 92-minute something like a thankathon? So he's such an interesting guy. I mean, I have hats off to Jimmy Kimmel, because you have to just have some comedic, you know, humor, relief. It's pretty funny what Jimmy Kimmel has done with Mike Lindell in terms of this back and forth banter, and it just ends up being like an SNL skit, and it's just kind of funny. Anyway, this is actually back to 45. He's got too many problems to run for president again. That's just the simple version of what I'm seeing here. Too many problems to run for president again. This represents Melania, who I thought might have left by now, but there's some, you know, female that's going to have an influence on whether he does that or not. So let me see. I mean, throws his hat into the ring. I've always said no. Is that Melania? No, it's not Melania. Is it maybe Pelosi stops him from doing that? No. What stops him from running? Is it a judge? Oh yeah, it's a judge. It's a judge. I feel like it's a female judge that prevents him from throwing his hat in the ring for 2024. Now, since we're going down the rabbit hole of the dark people in government, and 45 is not even in government. Remember when ex-presidents used to just disappear? You're like, gee, I wonder whatever happened to George W. Even Obama is like, he pops up once in a while, but it's like, gosh, it's, well, you know, that's the malignant narcissism. They have to always be in the limelight. Thank God Twitter doesn't let him on, or Facebook, which is surprising to me. Everybody knows that I'm off Facebook, I think, and jumped onto YouTube instead because Zuckerberg is working for the devil. We all know that, right? Really bad things happen because of Facebook's algorithms and the way they lure people in, that kind of thing. Anyway, okay, so what I want to look at is the January 6th Commission. I feel like they're getting a really lot of information. There's so many subpoenas out there. You know, just keeping in perspective, the subpoenas aren't like, we're going to send you to jail because of what you said. The subpoenas are to gather information so that we don't have what happened on January 6th, where we almost violently were overtaken. They need to find out what happened. So I literally was going down a list in my head on my walk today and yesterday too of all the really dark forces in the Republican Party. And we're talking like the Paul Gosars. And, you know, I'm calling it a violent cult because it is. And that is not a stretch. That's how governments get overthrown. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying this to aware you. Personally, from a spiritual perspective, I bind them in white light in my mind. White light never hurt anyone. I just bind them with white light in my mind so that they can't, you know, because they're very dangerous people. So that they can't, you know, incite violence. And all of them, every last one of them. But there's so many. It's breathtaking when you think about how many are working for violence. And for not wanting to have this country be a beautiful country. I know, it's upsetting. Okay, so what's going to happen with them? Maybe I'll pick one at a time. It would take all day, and I'm not going to make this video long because I have things to do. But all right, so don't forget, I'm having church on Thanksgiving in 2 parts. Part 1 is 30 minutes. Part 2 is 30 minutes for church. And thank you guys who've watched my Church of Spirituality almost on 1 year. December 6th will be 1 year. Okay, so we're asking about the GOP Republicans. Yes, they're just going to be like they're not very good at defending themselves. Well, that's the interesting cards I'm getting here. This is enough of them are going to want to save themselves from going to jail, so they're going to be speaking, but we won't really know what they said. Not the really bad ones. Let me name the really bad ones. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell, kind of, sort of. I don't know. He's kind of in a weird place. So Paul Gosar, Boebert, the Jim Jordans, Matt Gaetz, Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, Gohmert, Mo Brooks. See, there's so many, and I'm leaving some out. They don't have an alibi. They don't. There's evidence, and they don't have an alibi. And they're gonna, enough of them are gonna surrender the goods in terms of the information about what actually happened on January 6th to keep themselves from going to prison. And it's gonna happen quickly. Remember I said not too long ago that I feel like that, you know, holidays, you'd think that we would be shutting down the government and all this, but I see a lot of work. I see 24/7 burning the candle at both ends going on in our government over the holidays because there's so much work to do. It's sink or swim right now. Like I said, I don't want you to worry. I just want you to visualize that we're going to make it. We want to save our country for future generations from authoritarianism, which is encroaching on all the world right now. And, you know, the Rittenhouse acquittal. The Rittenhouse acquittal caused and motivated a young boy, I think it was 15, in Colorado to shoot his class. I think it was his classmates. I don't remember where he was exactly. Nobody died, but teenagers got wounded. Okay, so that was like 2 days after the Rittenhouse acquittal, or well, it was Friday. Yeah, we're gonna see more of that. Is this really the kind of world that we want for our children? Glorifying Kyle Rittenhouse is wrong. We all know that. I'm not like telling you some big revelation. You know, I even have heard people say, well, do you think he should have, you know, just stood there and let those guys beat him up? Well, if people have that kind of argument at the Thanksgiving Day table, what you're going to say is, I'm for love. And that's violence, and I'm not for violence. There are other ways to defend yourself. I don't want to go down that hole right now. So anyway, we will see more violence, and we will see the GOP acting on their violent impulses. I don't mean they're going to cause another insurrection. I mean they're going to be threatening harm. All right. Let's just see what's going to happen with Kyle Rittenhouse. As much as I don't want to go there, I'm hesitating. They're showing me Matt Gaetz. I think Matt Gaetz is going to get him an internship. Is that really going to happen? Let's look at the pendulum for that. Is Matt Gaetz really going to get Kyle Rittenhouse in on an internship? I mean, I know that Fox News interviewed Kyle Rittenhouse, but I'm not going there. I'm not going to look at that. I think it's terrible. I did see a small clip of Kyle Rittenhouse saying something to Joe Biden, like, well, you don't know how it is, kind of thing. When Biden really played it safe and didn't really say anything that was condoning either side, actually, you know, he kept kind of quiet about it. So I don't know where Kyle's getting off saying this stuff to the president, and it just makes my stomach turn that Kyle is like this little 17-year-old is telling the president of the United States, giving him a piece of his mind. It's disgusting. I'm sorry. It just is. You know, and if you think Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero, you hate my channel, and I love you and light to you, but if you think Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero, you're missing the point. We don't want our children running around with M15s and shooting people because zip internet. Is Kyle Rittenhouse going to be Matt Gaetz' intern? Yep. Matt Gaetz will do that just to anger the Democrats and to own the libs. Yeah, Matt Gaetz is going to have Kyle Rittenhouse be an intern. I'm going to actually pull 3 cards about that because it's so disgusting. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you heard it here. Matt Gaetz is going to be talking about getting Kyle Rittenhouse to be an intern, and this is a lover card. Oh, you know, come on, homeboy, let's come into the White House with your gun. And this is it's not going to bode well for Matt Gaetz because he's, you know, he's facing prison time anyway, and the devil card's coming up. So the reason Matt Gaetz is doing that is because Matt Gaetz is influenced by the dark side, and he's an evil human being, as we know, who is doing sex trafficking with young girls, as we know. I'm being really, really out there, you know, putting it out there today. But anyway, yeah, Matt Gaetz is going to have Kyle Rittenhouse come in to be an intern. And it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. Is Matt Gaetz going to be imprisoned eventually? Well, you know, saying yes. We can use this energy that is, you know, our upset energy. We can use this energy to focus on justice being served. Okay, let's do that, shall we? We're going to look at one more thing before I let you go. And as we speak, the jury is in deliberations. This just happened the other day as I was doing a video. The Rittenhouse trial was going on. The Ahmet Arbery, what I have said that I saw the McMichael, the father and the son, I see jail time for them. It's not a short sentence. I see a couple decades. And the other guy, the neighbor, I don't see him in jail, or if so, it's just for a short time. Oh yeah, this is the jail card. This is, yeah. In the Ahmaud Arbery case, those guys are going to jail. The father and son, I really get strongly. They're going to prison, and like maximum security prison is what I get. And the neighbor, I feel like the neighbor is going to get some time, but not as much. It will be very, very devastating for our country. I mean, not the outcome of that. I mean, just this whole racist thing. I mean, unfortunately, it causes people to fight more. I mean, how can you defend racism? I don't get it. And just for the record, our generations that are coming up of young people, they don't get the racism thing either. And I'm not talking about the Kyle Rittenhouses who was completely brainwashed for violence and racism. I mean, yeah, this is, it's really tragic, but what we're seeing is racism has come to a head. It's in full living color, in full view. And we will be rebuilding after that. The verdict is reached on the Aubrey trial. We have a long way to go, America. But right now, in the meantime, we just have to kind of stabilize the patient sort of thing, to use an EMT kind of a way of putting it. We have to stabilize. So do what you can to, you know, just be peaceful. Just be peaceful. I always recommend, there's an app called Insight Timer. I really, really like that app. I use it every so often. I have my own meditation practice, but I like that. I really suggest that one, Insight Timer. It's all kinds of different things on that that are meditation related and yoga related. That's what I have for you today. I'm coming back tomorrow with Linda G and with Church of Spirituality with a special Thanksgiving Day service. First ever, because we started it December 6th. I say we, but it's really just me. Thank you so much for all your support and all your kind comments, and for holding a space for peace, for sending light to Wisconsin. We were made for these times. We have to stay strong, okay? Let's help each other. Let's support each other. Support the other psychics on YouTube, too. Namaste. Happy Thanksgiving. See you tomorrow on Thanksgiving. Bye.